Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have already had our first guest speaker from Japan, Professor Kazunori Nozawa. He will share information about why articles are accepted or rejected by a refereed journal. Let me tell you a little bit about Professor Kazunori. Professor Kazunori Nozawa, who is currently a special appointed professor in College of Information Science and Engineering, Ritsumeikan University, Kusatsuchiga, Japan. He has published books related to teaching and ICT, translated books, English textbook, academic papers, reports, software reviews, and he's also presented papers in academic conferences around the world. And of course, Professor Kazunori also been invited in so many lectures. He also received scientific research grants and awards in education and technology related area. He travels around the world to attend international conferences, and the most important thing, as we all know, Professor Kazunori is the editor-in-chief of EJ. Professor Kazunori will be given 30 minutes for presentation and another 30 minutes for question and answer session. Without any further ado, please welcome Professor Kazunori Nozawa. The screen is yours.
Thank you very much. Nice introduction. And also, I'm very happy to be the first speaker for the I-Read in such a great event. And I understand that you have international participants from other countries as well. That's great. Okay, let me. All right, can you see my PowerPoint file there?
Yes.
Okay, my voice is okay to everyone?
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
Sure. I'm usually a Mac user, but I'm using a Windows Sony Bio at my home. I have a Mac as well, but this time I'm trying to use a Windows 10 machine here. First of all, thank you to Yudi Arifani. He was very helpful in my journal, and the reviewer, and also very active writing his own research papers and contribute to the Cold War. And all right, today's topic was common reasons for article rejection in scholarly publication. It kind of sounds negative, right? More, I should be giving a positive. So I usually include the more positive, titles. Anyhow, just I'll briefly self-introduce myself, as already you heard from the moderator here. Okay, already ending my career in a sense. I became a professor emeritus in 2017 after I reached my age at 65. Now I'm 70, and I have been teaching English as a foreign language and also content courses like nonverbal communication as a part of intercultural communication area for undergraduate students, and students, half international students and other half of Japanese students from all campus-wide departments. So I enjoyed that class too. And also I was giving lectures for postgraduate program called Graduate School of Language Education and Information Science, which is located in Kyoto campus, which is different from I work here. I work in Shiga. You see the background picture is the campus. About 16,000 students are attending, and mostly science and social science departments are here. And unfortunately, in 2 years, the coverage of information science and engineering will be moving to Osaka campus to do more, business-related information science and engineering studies and, teaching there. Anyhow, I've been teaching English as a foreign language for the past, years, and focusing on more technology use, like computer technology. And I enjoy learning new things. That's why I became Apple distinguished educators, using more Apple products. And I use the iPad and for, creating video programs or such and such, the more collaborative learning style, because I'm more, I learned from the Suggestopedia, which is a teaching methodology originally developed by a Bulgarian scholar, maybe 30 years ago. Yeah, then I learned, teacher can be more a facilitator rather than just an educator to give their knowledges or skills directly to students only. So I'm asking students to do more active participation to learn something new all the time. Anyhow, so I've been interested in teaching English using technology, and also interested in intercultural communication area, more focusing on nonverbal communication, because gestures or body language, so to speak, give lots of hints and understanding of other ethnic group of people. So it's great to give the train the students a more intercultural competence to be more international person or intercultural person. All right, then I've been managing the Call EJ. Previously, Call EJ then became online, then Call online, and then Call EJ again. So, and also I got involved with many other journals of other academic organizations or some international conferences. So I enjoy doing that kind of extra work. This is, reached to my homepage, which is written in with bilingually English and Japanese. So if you'd like to know more about me, you can access to this linked site. So today I'll be only 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes now, or less than 25 minutes. I'll be talking about what are the referee journals and what is called EJ, then why accepted or rejected submitted manuscripts were, and also conclusion recommendation. This is my brief outline of today's talk. So everybody should know this one, but the 3 minutes, 25 seconds, I'll show you some video, and I'll change to, let's see here.
Sudah selesai?
Ya. Iya, Mas.
Just a moment.
Enggak.
Can you see now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is from the website.
Welcome to this video from the Carleton University Library on peer-reviewed journal articles. So what's a peer-reviewed journal article, and why do you want to use this type of source for your research and assignments? Peer review is a term that refers to the steps that researchers go through to have their research published in an academic journal. Basically, it's the process for ensuring that academic articles have been examined by other experts in the field before publication. So how does peer review work? Think of it as a 5-step process. Step 1. The researcher does his or her research, writes a paper, and submits the manuscript to an academic journal that publishes similar or related types of work. Step 2. The journal editor reads the manuscript and decides whether it meets the criteria for publication or not. If it doesn't, back it goes to the writer with hopefully a polite rejection letter. If it does meet the criteria, then the manuscript is accepted and is sent to experts in the field who will read it as well. Talk about peer pressure. Step 3. The reviewers evaluate the manuscript in terms of its purpose, scope, thesis, and outcome, and ask questions such as, is the topic worth investigating? Are relevant sources being used? Does the evidence support the thesis? Is the thesis clearly and convincingly argued? Is the work original? Step 4. Once the reviewers have finished reading the manuscript, they send their comments to the editor, who, in turn, sends the writer another letter that will either accept the paper without revisions, not likely, or will provide comments and ask for revisions based on the peer reviewer's evaluation of the work. Step 5. Once the paper is revised to the satisfaction of the editor and the reviewers, and this might take several rewrites, the article is published. So if this is the peer review process, what's the difference between a scholarly, academic, peer-reviewed, and refereed article? You'll probably hear all these terms. Scholarly and academic are synonyms for each other and generally refer to the process of doing research in a university setting. Peer-reviewed and refereed are synonyms for this process of making sure articles are read by and approved by other competent researchers in the field before publication. Peer reviewers are sometimes called referees. So, when you use peer-reviewed articles for your research papers and assignments, you are using the best data and information available upon which to base your own work. This is the end of this video.
All right, very easy and understandable introduction of peer review. And everybody should know this one, right? And so going back to, okay. So what is a refereed journal, scholarly, journals? These are kind of definitions from various resources. For example, here, Virginia Tech University Library said the specific types of publication that meets the high standards and rigor expected with academic publishing. Or just simply, Austrian CQU, Central Queensland University Library says contains articles that have been through a peer review process, peer review. And also, Angelo State University, the part of Texas Tech University in USA, said articles are written by experts. That means researchers of certain field and reviewed by several other experts, which is mostly the leading scholars in the field. And before the article is published in the journal, that to ensure the article is quality. The quality is the matter. Quality matters. And Simon Fraser University in Canada, Vancouver. I was there, not really. I have a friend there. I was in Vancouver for a while as well. Peer-reviewed and refereed journals have an editorial board of special subject experts that can also review and evaluate some of the articles in addition to review team. So usually the editorial board members have to do more work, of course. And also the 2021 difference between .com's definition is scholarly journal evaluated by experts with similar competencies. well, maybe better competencies in the field too. So that is the just basic referee journal, what it is. And here is the different models from WIDI. Here, most of the papers submitted are single-blinded. Author doesn't know the identity of reviewer, or double-blinded. Reviewers doesn't know the identity of the author, or the vice versa. Usually, it comes at a normal style. Open peer review is different. Identity of the author and the reviewer is known by all participants. Like sometimes ResearchGate contacts me, please join this, evaluate some of the articles given by through that ResearchGate. That is understood by other people. So this is open peer review style. And transparent peer review style is a little bit different as well. Review report is posted with a published article, and reviewer can choose if they want to share their identity or not. Or collaborative style can be also found. 2 or more reviewers work together to submit a unified report. So that poster publications are just okay here. So here are scholarly journals for language education and technology area. I just pick up several. And Asia Call, maybe Indonesian researchers are interested in participating in Asia Call. They usually have annual conference, and they have online journal. And so you can access to this site, and maybe usually conference participants write to submit online journals. Same as the international conference participants. And Calico Journal, you have to be a member. This is more United States based, and it used to be more language laboratory association style. And then Calico is very useful if you are interested in more North American research result. And Computer Assisted Language Learning Electronic Journal, which is Corey J, which I'm the editor-in-chief. We all welcome. This is more like an independent. I started in 1990. Well, I will just explain later, but so, quite a history. And of course, indexed by Scopus and other databases. And Computer Assisted Language Learning is also available here. And International Journal of Computer Assisted Language Learning and Teaching is IGIglobal.com's one of the journals. So there are more journals through this IGI Global. So if you're interested in international journals of similar kind, you can access to this IGI Global. And also Journal of Foreign Language Education Technology, this is less popular maybe. And this is the most popular one, Language Learning and Technology. This is actually a publisher-sponsored journal and very well made website, and their style is very nice. It's from the Michigan State University based, I guess. And Language Education and Technology, which is more Japan side. LET is the Language Education and Technology Association in Japan. They have annual conferences or local conferences, and you may give a presentation there for national or international conferences as well, and they publish the journals. And Recall Journal is another famous one, which is more Eurocall based, which is the biggest organization in Europe. I participated in some of the conferences in UK or France or Sweden and so on. So there are lots of experts in Europe. And also from Japan side, the Joutcall Journal, which is now part of the castledown.com journal. And actually, JALTCO is an organization, a part of, it's called the Special Interest Group. I just funded this group through JALT more than 30 years ago. And they started their own journal, and mostly native speaker of English or researchers, publish this through this journal, or now international participants from Middle East as well. So this is a current core EJ I made. I'm also web creator, and so you can see home, about, editorial board, submission guidelines, and submission. You can just click and email linked, and the archives, background here from previous issues, all PDF file you can download and read it from 1999 to 2021. So just the published one is volume 23 and number 1 February issues, and 15 featured articles and one software review. I may add one book review soon, because there were some problems in writing. Later I'll mention as well. Anyway, you can always welcome to submit, but you have to read submission guidelines carefully. Okay, and this is Core EJ's history. So quickly, 1999. There was an on-call journal, paper-based journal in Australia, and Dr. Mike Levy, who is a famous core researcher, and he was there, and I went to sabbatical for 10 months at the Bondi University in Gold Coast, and Mike Levy was there at the time. So he and I worked together. I wrote a paper for on-call journal as well. But I was already started Core EJ 5 years before, 1994, in Japan based. So this was already online using my own server, and started this online journal, elective journal. But at the time it was HTML written style, we merged together. We agreed to merge, and it became online. So then 2010, name changed, Core EJ Online. And we used the Core EJ Online, but now changed to Core EJ, Core Electric Journal. Then 2011 to 20, for the 1 decade, indexed by various databases, including Scopus or European Reference Index for humanities, and National Diet Library. This is Japanese National Diet Library, automatically pick up published articles and to show their database, and Web of Science, Publons. And now we have a very, fortunately or unfortunately, the coronavirus pandemic situation. A lot of people stay home and maybe could do writing more papers. So 2020, we got the record high 126, and last year 171. It's quite amazing number of received manuscript. And team, all volunteer, because Core EJ is not sponsored, except PACCOR sponsored our server annual fees only. So nobody was paying. Nobody had been paid, including me. So it's all voluntarily minded, but they'd like to contribute their knowledge and skills to in the field. And at the moment, 17 editorial board members from Japan, Spain, Iran, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, South Korea, USA. And also from 20 countries from East Asia, like Thailand or Vietnam, China and Korea, Japan, and also Southeast East Asia from Thailand or Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, so on, and Hong Kong too from East Asia. And Middle East is from Iran or Saudi Arabia or Oman, and Australia, New Zealand, USA, and UK. So those people are all volunteer-minded and very active in this as researchers, as well as helping this college journal. This is the historical flow of received and result of college manuscript from 1999. This is not really popular at the beginning because I don't really advertise this journal like a commercial journal. So very, not many publications, usually 7 to 11 or 10, mostly, after we get the 30, 40 received manuscript. But 2014, they, increased number gradually. Then 2018, more than 50. And 2019, 20, it goes up and up. So this is quite interesting history. And here, overview of college publication here, more than 40, mostly the featured articles, some are forum special articles, and some software or book reviews. So this is a peer review process in the case of college. Usually we receive manuscript and they are supposed to follow the APA 7, American Psychological Association version 7 in 2020 and 19 or 20, And they have to be, now we require plagiarism check reports using Turnitin or other plagiarism application. Because we found some of the received manuscripts had some problems with plagiarisms. Usually less than 30% are acceptable, but sometimes we found more than 50% plagiarism problems in some of the manuscripts. That's why we decided to ask any possible contributors using plagiarism check report together when they send us the original manuscript. And then maybe they are rejected or accepted. We go on to internal review by editors and mostly me and associate editors and some of the editorial board members. Then maybe usually not, maybe a few percent of research submitted manuscripts are accepted as they are, but most of them have to go over major or minor revision process. Then accepted it, and they are going to internal reviewers accepted, then they go to double-branded reviewers. It takes usually, well, here is 2 to 3 weeks. This is more 4 to 6 weeks, but depending on the reviewer, lots of people are busy people, so it may happen to have longer reviewer time. And it's all voluntary, so we can't really complain about it. Then again, they make the suggestion to we decide reject or accept it. Then even accepted, not perfect, so you have to make those people, authors have to do some minor revisions. And here are some 8 reasons why articles are accepted by Hernandez. First one, managed to deal with some emerging theme. Some topics are very outdated, so maybe our readers are not interested in, like let's see, lighting with word only, or just maybe traditional classroom versus just one treatment for shorter time. and on some of the writing topic. That is not very interesting. So maybe more attractive topic, and must be original. Again, if you copy and paste some of the parts and doesn't make it's not original. So you have, even you cite properly, you have to use your own words and rephrase some of the expressions or something like that. And also abound in the importance of metadata, title, abstract, and keywords are important too. And then managed to be correctly structured and written. Again, especially non-native speakers of English, including me, we cannot be a perfect in writing. So I usually use a Grammarly or a Ginger or that kind of helper to when I write something, academic papers. Number 5 is the references are relevant. Yeah, some of the papers submitted were kind of outdated referencing problem. So we have to have latest references more. And importance of methodological rigor and the adequacy of research instrument. Again, research instrument has some of the problems. Because of the attractiveness of College A, I have received a lot of manuscripts from Iran, for example. And some of the papers are not good, well written with good research methodology. So because of the instrument was not appropriate sometimes. And attached to the elaboration of the result and discussion conclusion. Sometimes some paper lacks conclusions, only discussion and recommendation, or some of the results were not clear enough. So we have to understand more understandable explanation of result and discussions and summary of research result and the conclusion. And number 8 is abound in the series of plus criteria such as research articles. Well, this is not really important but extra. So there are another slower 2012. This is a little bit out of date, but this explains 8 reasons why articles are rejected. It fails a technical screen. Yeah, there are technical problems. First of all, some authors send me PDF form file, not Word file we required. So I cannot, I can read it, but it's not easy to check, edit, or something. So that some technical problems. And also it does not fall within the aim and scope. Yeah, yesterday, actually, one of the Indonesian scholars contacted me. Can I send this such and such topic articles to you for publication? Oh, I read the topics. Does not include any technology at all, sounds like. So, whoa, this is more like semantics in a linguistics field. Maybe you should send it to linguistics journal or applied linguistics journal, not here. So usually those people do not visit website and read that our scope and also submission requirement page. And it is incomplete. Some papers incomplete and send it to us. So that was not polite and also really bothered us. And procedures and analysis of data seem to be defective. That is also the problem. And also simple extension of different paper, like a PhD candidate usually work harder and they usually try to publish a part of their dissertations so that not sometimes clear enough. And conclusions cannot be justified on the basis of the rest of the paper. Yeah, sometimes based on the research questions and they also collected data and they analyzed and maybe statistically shown this is effective in methodology. But the conclusion was not really justifying that kind of result. And sometimes it's incomprehensible. Actually, one of the I'm sorry to say, one of the previously published book reviewers, that was done by non-native speaker researcher. But he is, of course, competent to write a book review, and most of all were good. But some English expressions were not comprehensible for the especially native speaker of English. So we have to ask them to ask the author to ask the qualified native speaker of English. Qualified means not just the English native speaker. They have published similar research papers or active in that research project in the similar field. Otherwise, they cannot, understand the, paper itself. And boring. Well, it does not happen much, but this 8 reasons to be rejected is one of the boring topic or contents. So problems found so far is a formatting, submission requirement, as I mentioned, PDF format, Word, and also style. Often, lots of authors use letter size, style of format, but the A4 is more recommended for us. And I have a problem with the right-to-left writing from Arabic countries, Arabic authors. Sorry. And also language and no spelling and grammar checker, it was used. So there are lots of English problems. Of course, British English or American English differences are okay, but some of the articles or particles or whatever, they have some problems. They have to use the grammar checker, spell grammar checker before sending us. And literature review, as I mentioned, out-of-dated references are not welcome. Some of the papers are talking about early 2000 papers, mostly 80% of review of literature is focused on that early to the 20th century. That was not welcome. We are 21st century, so that we have to have at least several citations from the past 5 years or less, more or less. And also, still APA 7 is not familiar with us, our researchers. They based on maybe APA 6. There are some YouTube videos to understand more about APA 7, so they have to learn by themselves. And plagiarism I mentioned. And methodology, either a single method, like only questionnaire is used and analyzed for the result. It's not very, even master's level students I'm teaching, giving advising advices to write research papers. You have to use more mixed method style, or you could include some of the interviews for support that questionnaire result. And also questionnaire was small, for the handicapped learners learning English language, paper was a small number of data. So it's not really clearly say this method is effective or not. It's kind of difficult to say. So even qualitative research, there are some problems. And treatment and length. Yeah, sometimes some of the research was done by for just 2 weeks. That is not, you cannot conclude anything. All right, so this is recommendations to avoid rejection. Sorry, I'm getting over. the limited time. Visit the journal website, understand the scope and object first, then write manuscript in the same style or published articles, just to understand published articles. Then review these several references published in the past 3-4 years, or maybe 5 years. Cite them in APA 7 style, and use mixed method, possibly, and use the statistical software like SPSS, and analyze the data comprehensively, and check the final version with Grammarly or similar spell grammar checker, or, as I said, qualified native speaker English to check before its submission. So 6 steps that will save you from journal rejection, according to Enago Academy. Choose one or write journal. Yeah, like someone contacted me. Yeah, I receive sometimes more computer application development paper. It's unrelated to at all for language learning or teaching. So choose one and write the journal. Follow author guideline. Yeah, check that guidelines and write. And avoid duplication and plagiarism. You can use plagiarism application now, so easily. And focus on significant and new findings. We are not interested in old findings in the past. Lots of papers are already written. So we need more important and new findings from your research. And avoid discrepancies and answer the research questions. Some of the research questions not clearly answered, that is not a good paper. And address ethical concerns as well. Okay. So what the last thing I say, the quality matters. Yeah. Any papers, quality comes first. So anyone can be smart, think creatively, act scholarly, and your challenge accepted. So these are references I used for today. And thank you for listening. Terima kasih. And question and answer session now. Sorry for getting over. 30 minutes is too short for me.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Professor Kazunori. It's very insightful information about why the article is accepted and also rejected. Well, Ibu Nur Agustina, she's in the United States right now, Prof. Kazunori, and she would like to ask you a question. Okay, Bu Nur Agustina, please.
Thank you so much. Hello, hello, Professor Kazunori. It's very nice meeting you today. And I learned a lot from you, and it's really inspiring what your presentation to us. I would like to ask about, it seems that systematic review and meta-analysis now gain a lot of interest from the scholars. So what do you think about those two things, systematic review and meta-analysis? And if you can give me, I'm still a bit confused about the differences between systematic review and meta-analysis. This is my first question. And then my second question is, I also learned that there are lots of grants for the research that use the big data, or what do you call it?
Corpus?
No, not the corpus, but is like, for example, the government of United States, they have a data for the, the children under poverty and how they learn, and children under poverty, and then their, academic achievement, and then it's a raw data, and there are grants that as a researcher we have to analyze the data from a certain point of view. I forgot the name. It's a big data, or I forgot, but like we analyze the data that, say, for example, belong to the government, and then we use that raw data and we see it from a certain perspective or certain point of view. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that's also interesting, but mostly will be quantitative, right? Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Noah. Probably systematic review was already done by some of the articles we published. Mostly Iranian researchers are interested in that kind of thing. And actually, one or two of our reviewers who are also good researchers in that kind of thing. So you can go to find, I don't remember which one, but there are a few papers doing that kind of thing. So you can see what kind of people are doing such and such topic in 2019 or 2020, and you can find out more. For using big data, yeah, of course, you can use the old data. However, you have to propose new ideas or new finding from that. Because well, you have to think about the reader of that paper. If you publish it, you'd like to be cited for further research, right? So using big data is no problem. That's why some of the papers are written for corpora, using corpora for teaching grammar or writing, and that is very popular nowadays. But I'm not so familiar with the corpus. I once researched learner corpus. Learners of EFL had a lot of problems, right? So they have, we try to build the corpora for that kind of thing. Only there are some because we can learn from the native speakers database, but we also can learn something, for our own students to understand the similar mistakes they make from some examples coming from the learner corpus. So using big data is no problem, but what you can propose from there after analyzing, or you can apply that, for example, wrong mistakes and use in normal language classes, and what happens? Your students learn better, or got some hints using that kind of a database. So that is one of the research you can try. But also that kind of thing may be happening because writing and reading part is a very much affluent in the research, so that result, so that you have to add latest research result as well. Am I answering the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much. So when we are trying to submit our article, so there should be some critics, that we have to give, and also we have to provide the novelty of our research from whatever the data are taken. Okay. Ms. Nasra Joma from Palestine will ask the question, Prof. Kazunori. Please, Ms. Nasra. Hello, Ms. Nasra Joma.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'd like to ask the professor a question about the format, the problems of the format, which says about the letters, vice versa, A4. What does that mean? What does it mean?
It's when you use the word, usually you can space-wise. Usually authors use their own use space for when you write, and A4 is for example, paper size here. It's for example here. I'm just reading. Can you see? Maybe not quite good. Okay. So it's when I do internal review, it's much easier to print out and also write in, comments rather than just using the file itself. Oh, I can do that because I have this year already 12 papers arrived. So I've been using, printout as well, because I'd like to see how it relates with the reference inside in-text citation and the references. Most of them are not well, sometimes not found in the references or something like that, so that it's easier to print out. And also when you publish it, it's an A4 size, not letter size. So that is the difference between the actually, that's the formatting for our conveniences as well.
Oh, does it
Thank
answer
you,
the
sir.
question?
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
You can easily change it with Word.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof. And
Sure.
the next question is from Mbak Nanda, please.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rina. So, hello, Professor. My name is Trisna Nanda. I'm one of student of Mr. Budi. And my article interest is talking about education and autism spectrum disorder and technology. Right now, I wrote scaffolding for autism students, and it is still related with technology. But I found some problems when I submitted in a journal. I got a lot of rejected, and one of suggested from the journal is if we want to talk about education and technology, I have to change my article design, because my article design is a case study. I want to try to find the theoretical potential theory from my research, but the suggested from my previous rejected journal is I have to change my article design into maybe more quantitative rather than qualitative. I think for me it is hard for me, and after that I read a lot of article journal, and I found that there are a lot of people talk about scaffolding, but it's more deeper discussion rather than I did. So I want to ask, do you have any suggestion for me to solve my problem in here? Thank you, sir.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, well, creating new theory or just, yeah, well, research design is important. So, well, first of all, you have to ask your advisor or your colleague or whatever who are good at your field and how you design your research. And then you have to come up with a good research question. Then how can you prove it using what kind of methodology? That comes next, right? And then what you can support your research, research topics from, you have to read. That's why the review of literature is important to support your research question, and also what kind of other people are doing the similar research, and find out the result. So you can cite them into your paper to support your research result. So it's not easy, but probably anyone from other people, the participants, can probably give her better suggestion or recommendation. I cannot really do much for this, I guess.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Sorry about that.
Well, one more question from Nada, Ibu Nada.
Hello, is my
Hello.
voice clear?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Nada from Indonesia, and I would like to ask about the question regarding to the article and the journal. Is there any tendency for the method of research that can be accepted to the journal, like for example, if you use the qualitative method, you can have more chance to be accepted in the journal, or is there any things like that? And the second questions that I would like to ask, if it's allowed, I would like to ask about the citation, because I saw in the presentation that we use the APA 7 edition, and I have this kind of experience writing using this this APA and using the citation machine like Mendeley or something, but it turns out it doesn't turn out the way I desire. The citation is not meant to be it still have some errors. Do you have any suggestion or advice about what should I do if I want to improvise my citation method so that I can be accepted to the journal? Thank you.
Okay. First question, qualitative research. Yeah, quantitative or qualitative research, both are okay if it's written well, by following the qualitative research methodology. There are some books about that or references to how you write for other qualitative research paper. Of course, you can Google it, you can find more. And also, second question, APA 7, there are YouTube videos you can learn. And also, if you go to APA, American Psychological Association, there are some example paper, how you cite, so you can download that paper, like a template, then you can follow that style. Like from APA 6 to 7 changed, figures and tables in 2 lines, and titles italic, and up above the tables and figures. But still, I received one yesterday that was still figures bottom of the figure. Yeah, so you have to change that style by doing by yourself. It's really, detailed changes, but also multiple authors, more than 3 authors. When you in text citation, you may abbreviate like et al. You have to use from the beginning. Well, APA 6 was, first one is you write all the authors, but APA 7, you have to use et al. From the beginning, first appearance in the paper, and so on. So that kind of thing you can learn from YouTube videos. There are lots of free videos, watching we human beings, 80% of us are more understanding using eyes, right? So visual understanding. So I recommend YouTube videos. There are many. And also APA, American Psychological Association's website has a video too, I guess. So you can learn, then you write it, then ask someone who knows APA 7. But don't send any referred journal without, ignoring that kind of thing. Some journals, not us, I politely check and give you feedback, but other journals, reject it immediately if you are not written in the required style.
Okay, so we have to pay attention to the requirements, yeah? Mandatory. Yeah. Okay, Professor Kazunori, we have one more question. This one is the last questions, and I can read it from the chat box. It is from Bapak Awang Wicaksono. The first question is, should we cite a previous article from the same journal publisher in order to be accepted?
I see. Well, it's recommended to cite, some of the research results from the same journal, and other than just ignoring. Well, for example, I'm not sure how many journal articles, but we've been publishing many articles. If the topic relates, you can cite it. So as many as you find the similar topics or similar research result, you can cite it from the journal, from various journals, but you can include the particular journal you are submitting. It's more recommended. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. The next one is about collaboration, Prof. Is collaborating with another significant productive author could help our articles chance to be accepted?
Collaborative authors.
Yeah.
What do you mean
For instance, now we are in our association. Some of us have less experience in publishing the articles in reputable or Scopus Index journal, and the other ones are productive authors. So, do you think that collaboration is suggested?
Well, of course, the collaborative writing is more welcome, and many PhD students who'd like to publish it come with their advisors. So it's not only single author, multiple authors becoming more popular these days.
Okay.
Yeah, because the advisors, they are more experienced and more familiar with formatting or writing style. So any experienced authors have to have maybe collaborative authors together. Then, but you have to be a first author, right? To be credited more.
Okay, yeah. So, Pak Awang, your status suggested to be the first author, yeah?
Yeah,
so
that means you have to write the original paper first, then get advice to improve it or revise it by other collaborative authors, I guess.
Okay, well, the last question, Professor Kazunori, and I think it's related to the previous one about methodology. He's asking about, is there any issues that choosing certain methodology, and he's giving an example of using SAM, will help us will help us more chance to be accepted in reputable or index journal. Like, so if using SAM, then it will be accepted. The chance is more over there. Do you think so?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, well, until we see the whole paper. Any methodology can be acceptable, but you have to carefully design the research itself and actually use the research question to be answered using collected data. And after analyzing properly, then summarize. So it's just an ordinary style of writing academic paper for journals, but those more focused and uniqueness should be found in that paper. Otherwise, we already read this kind of thing. We have done this one already, and we knew that kind of already the methodology works. So you have to prove this is a new finding in not only narrow, only this is for, like some of the examples from Iranian papers, they have, they educate women and male students, female students separately, but only collecting from female data or male data. It may work for the Islamic world, but not other world. So it's more ideal, like as Hajjustopedia said, equal balance to male, female learners are much more effective to learn something.
Okay.
So balancing is the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah. So what we are writing should be accepted by all readers. So the readers could understand what we are writing. That's one thing that we have to understand also, I think, Prof.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Professor Kazunori, we have all the questions from the participants. And would you please give us like remarks before we end our session?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for giving me such an opportunity. I have to give the similar presentation next week as well for the Bangladesh researchers. It's quite interesting to see other researchers from different countries and share my knowledge and skills, or sometimes through this webinar style or Zoom presentations. I've been using a lot of Zoom for my EFL classes, so I enjoy this kind of communication style as well. Even though I'd like to go there and see face-to-face more, but I enjoyed meeting people through this kind of style too. Thank you very much, Yudi.
Thank you, Prof. Kaz.
And I'll be still working with him continuously.
Yeah.
And I appreciated your, participation today, and I enjoyed this opportunity very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation, Prof. Kazunori. And we do hope that we could publish our articles in Call EJ one day. Yeah.
Lots of Indonesian researchers submitting nowadays.
Yeah. We also have some friends here joining this session have published the articles in Call EJ. Yeah. Okay.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Kazunori.
Thank you.
Well, Bapak Ibu and also ladies and gentlemen, we will also award Professor Kazunori with a certificate as a guest speaker for today's seminar, and it will be sent to you because by email, because we cannot give it to you in person today. Again, thank you very much for insightful presentation today. Thank you, Professor Kazunori. Pak Dodi, will you share the certificate? Will you show the certificate to Professor Kazunori?
Yes, I will share the certificate for Kazunori. Will be sent via email.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, just a moment.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Bu Rina pakai bahasa Jepang dong, Bu Rina.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
I hope to see you sometime.
Yeah, of course. It should be in person.
Okay. So
this is certificate for Professor Kazunori.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your for your coming, and we are happy to have you here, Professor Kazunori, and hope to see you in person one day. Yeah.
Yep.